A seed most Americans walk past in the grocery store without a second glance. A seed that has been used for centuries in traditional medicine and that modern research is now confirming has a direct, measurable impact on sciatic nerve inflammation. If you wake up every morning with that burning, shooting pain running from your lower back down through your leg, I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes. Because what I am about to share with you has changed the mornings of thousands of seniors across this country, and it starts with 2 seeds, eaten every single morning for 7 days. Before we go any further, hit that subscribe button right now and drop a comment below with your age and your city. I read every single comment, and if you are someone who wakes up every morning dealing with sciatica pain, this video was made specifically for you. Stay with me. Welcome back. If you are new here, this channel is dedicated entirely to senior health in America. Practical, science-backed information for adults over 60 who want to stay strong, mobile, and independent for as long as possible. Today we are talking about sciatica, and I want to start with something most doctors never say out loud in a standard appointment. Sciatica is not just back pain, it is one of the most complex and frustrating pain conditions affecting American seniors today. The sciatic nerve is the longest and widest nerve in the entire human body. It runs from the lower spine, through the buttock, down the back of each leg, and all the way to the foot. When that nerve becomes compressed, irritated, or inflamed, the pain it produces is unlike almost anything else: burning, shooting, electric. Sometimes a dull, constant ache, sometimes a sharp, sudden jolt that stops you mid-step. The American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons estimates that up to 40% of Americans will experience sciatica at some point in their lives. And for adults over 60, the numbers are significantly higher because as we age, the discs between our vertebrae begin to lose moisture and flexibility. They thin, they bulge, they press against the sciatic nerve. Bone spurs form. The spinal canal narrows. All of these age-related changes increase the likelihood of sciatic nerve compression and the pain that follows. Most seniors are offered the same limited set of solutions: pain medications that mask the symptoms without addressing the inflammation, steroid injections that provide temporary relief but carry real long-term risks, physical therapy that helps some people and does little for others, surgery, which most doctors are not recommending unless all other options have failed. What almost nobody is told is that the inflammatory environment around the sciatic nerve can be directly influenced by what you eat every single day, starting with what you put in your body first thing in the morning. Today I am going to tell you about 2 seeds that the research supports as among the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory foods available to seniors dealing with sciatica. 2 seeds that are affordable, accessible, and can be added to your morning routine in under 60 seconds. Let me start by explaining what is actually happening inside your body when sciatica flares, because understanding the mechanism is what makes everything else click. When the sciatic nerve is compressed or irritated, the body responds the same way it responds to any injury. It sends an inflammatory response to the affected area. White blood cells rush in, inflammatory proteins called cytokines are released. Blood flow increases to the area. In an acute injury, this response is protective and necessary. It is the body trying to heal itself, but in chronic sciatica, this inflammatory process does not switch off. The nerve remains irritated. The cytokines keep flowing. The surrounding tissue stays inflamed, and that persistent chronic inflammation is what produces the burning, shooting pain that seniors with sciatica wake up with every single morning. Here is what makes this so critical to understand. The foods you eat every day either feed that inflammation or they help calm it. A diet high in processed foods, refined sugar, seed oils, and red meat floods the body with pro-inflammatory compounds, omega-6 fatty acids, advanced glycation end products, and inflammatory cytokines that make sciatic nerve inflammation worse with every meal. Conversely, specific foods contain compounds that directly target and reduce the inflammatory cytokines responsible for sciatic nerve pain. 2 of the most powerful of those foods are seeds that most seniors have never been told about in the context of sciatica. The first is hemp seed, the second is celery seed. Let me tell you exactly what each one does and why the research supports them. Seed number 1, hemp seed. Hemp seeds are the small, soft seeds of the cannabis sativa plant, and before anything else, I want to address what some of you are already thinking. Hemp seeds contain no THC. They produce no psychoactive effect whatsoever. They are fully legal across all 50 states. They are sold in Walmart, Costco, Whole Foods, and virtually every major grocery chain in America. What they do contain is something the research increasingly identifies as one of the most powerful, natural, anti-inflammatory compounds available for nerve pain. Hemp seeds have what scientists call a perfect omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Specifically, a ratio of 1 to 3, omega-3 to omega-6. This ratio matters enormously for inflammation. Here is why. Omega-6 fatty acids, when consumed in excess, are pro-inflammatory. They stimulate the production of the exact inflammatory cytokines that irritate the sciatic nerve. Omega-3 fatty acids do the opposite. They produce compounds called resolvins and protectins, molecules that actively signal the body to reduce and resolve inflammation. The average American diet has an omega-3 to omega-6 ratio of approximately 1 to 20 times more inflammatory omega-6 than anti-inflammatory omega-3. That imbalance is one of the primary dietary drivers of chronic inflammation, including the chronic inflammation that keeps the sciatic nerve irritated day after day. Hemp seeds, with their nearly perfect omega ratio, help correct that imbalance directly. But the benefits of hemp seed for sciatica go beyond omega fatty acids alone. Hemp seeds are one of the only plant foods that contain GLA, gamma-linolenic acid. GLA is a rare omega-6 fatty acid that, unlike most omega-6 fats, actually has potent anti-inflammatory properties. Research has shown that GLA reduces the production of prostaglandins, the inflammatory compounds that sensitize nerve endings and amplify pain signals. For seniors with sciatica, reducing prostaglandin activity around the sciatic nerve means less burning, less shooting pain, less sensitivity with every movement. Hemp seeds are also exceptionally rich in magnesium. Magnesium is essential for nerve function. It regulates the activity of nerve receptors, specifically the NMDA receptor, which is directly involved in pain signaling. Studies have consistently found that adults with chronic nerve pain have significantly lower magnesium levels than those without pain. And magnesium supplementation or magnesium-rich foods like hemp seeds has been shown in multiple trials to reduce the intensity of nerve pain in chronic sufferers. 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds per day provides approximately 50% of the recommended daily intake of magnesium. Added to a morning smoothie, sprinkled over oatmeal, mixed into yogurt, 3 tablespoons every morning. That is the starting point. Seed number 2, celery seed, celery. This is the one that surprises people the most. Most Americans think of celery as a vegetable, the crunchy stalk you eat with peanut butter or toss into a soup. But the seed of the celery plant is an entirely different story. Celery seed is small, dark, and carries a concentrated form of the bioactive compounds found in the celery plant, at levels far higher than anything you would get from eating the stalk. And the compound that makes celery seed so remarkable for sciatica is called 3-NB, 3-N-butyl phthalate. 3-NB is a natural phytochemical found almost exclusively in celery and celery seed, and the research on what it does to nerve inflammation is genuinely impressive. 3-NB has been shown in studies to inhibit the production of COX-2 enzymes. COX-2 enzymes are the same enzymes targeted by prescription anti-inflammatory medications like Celebrex. When COX-2 activity is reduced, inflammatory prostaglandins decrease. Nerve tissue inflammation calms, pain signals diminish. The difference between celery seed and a prescription COX-2 inhibitor is that celery seed achieves this through a natural phytochemical pathway, without the cardiovascular risks, kidney strain, and gastrointestinal side effects that come with long-term NSAID or prescription anti-inflammatory use. For seniors who are already managing multiple medications, this is not a small distinction. Celery seed also contains compounds called phthalides that have been shown to relax the smooth muscle tissue surrounding blood vessels. This improves circulation to the lower spine and the surrounding nerve tissue. And improved circulation means more oxygen and more anti-inflammatory nutrients reaching the sciatic nerve and faster removal of the inflammatory waste products that accumulate around compressed nerve tissue. Additionally, celery seed is rich in apigenin, a flavonoid that has shown significant neuroprotective properties in research settings. Apigenin has been found to reduce oxidative stress in nerve tissue, the cellular damage caused by free radicals that accelerates nerve degeneration in conditions like sciatica. 1/4 teaspoon of celery seed per day, added to warm water, mixed into a morning drink, or ground and sprinkled over food, is the amount most commonly used in the research literature showing anti-inflammatory benefit. It has a mild, slightly bitter herbal flavor. Most people find it easy to incorporate once they build the habit. And for seniors dealing with daily sciatica pain, the evidence suggests that habit is worth building. I want to tell you about Keith. Keith was 71 years old. A retired construction supervisor from Tennessee, he had spent 40 years on job sites, on his feet, lifting, bending, carrying. By the time he retired, his lower back had decades of wear built into it. The sciatica started at 67. At first, it was occasional, a shooting pain down his left leg when he stood up too quickly or sat for too long. By 69, it was constant. He woke up every morning with burning pain from his lower back to his calf. He had tried everything his doctors offered, anti-inflammatories that upset his stomach, 2 steroid injections that gave him 3 weeks of relief each time. Then the pain came back, worse than before. Physical therapy that helped his mobility slightly but did almost nothing for the nerve pain itself. When Keith came to see me, he was frustrated in a way I recognize immediately in patients who have been managing chronic pain for years. Not angry, not dramatic, just quietly exhausted. He said, and I remember this clearly, he said, "I just want to walk to my mailbox without planning for the pain beforehand." I went through his diet in detail, high in processed food, high in red meat, almost no omega-3 sources whatsoever. His dietary omega ratio was severely imbalanced. Far too much omega-6, almost no omega-3. His magnesium levels were on the low end of the reference range. His diet was, without him knowing it, actively feeding the inflammation around his sciatic nerve every single day. I introduced him to both seeds, 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds every morning, added to his breakfast, 1/4 teaspoon of celery seed, stirred into warm water before his morning walk. I also asked him to reduce his processed food intake and replace red meat with fish 3 times per week. At day 7, Keith sent me a message. He said the morning stiffness and burning had noticeably reduced, not gone, but reduced in a way he could feel from the moment he got out of bed. At 30 days, and he came in for a follow-up, he told me he had walked to his mailbox 3 days in a row without stopping to brace himself against the pain. For most people, that sounds like a small thing. For Keith, it was everything. Keith's story is not an isolated case. I have seen this pattern repeatedly, and I believe there are millions of seniors across this country managing sciatica pain every day, without ever having been told that what they eat every morning has a direct relationship with how much that nerve hurts. Let me give you a specific, practical morning protocol that combines both seeds in a way that is easy, consistent, and sustainable. This is not complicated. It does not require expensive equipment or special preparation. It requires 2 ingredients, 60 seconds, and consistency. Step 1, hemp seeds. 3 tablespoons of raw shelled hemp seeds, also called hemp hearts, every morning. You can stir them into oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, sprinkle them over scrambled eggs, mix them into yogurt. They have a mild, slightly nutty flavor that blends into almost anything without changing the taste significantly. Store them in the refrigerator after opening. The omega fatty acids are sensitive to heat and light. Step 2. Celery seed. 1/4 teaspoon of celery seed every morning. The simplest method is to stir it into a small glass of warm water and drink it before breakfast. You can also grind it and add it to eggs, soups, or savory dishes. It is available in the spice aisle of virtually every grocery store in America, usually under $2 for a full jar. Some people prefer celery seed capsules, which are available at health food stores and online, for convenience and to avoid the flavor entirely. Either form delivers the same bioactive compounds. Consistency is everything. The research showing anti-inflammatory benefit from both of these seeds is based on daily consistent consumption over a minimum of 7 days. One morning will not produce a noticeable result. 7 mornings done without missing a day is where most people begin to feel a difference. 30 days is where the full anti-inflammatory effect becomes established. Think of it less as a treatment and more as a daily nutritional investment in the health of your nervous system. Every morning you take these 2 seeds, you are giving your body the compounds it needs to reduce the inflammation around your sciatic nerve. Every morning you skip, that investment does not compound. Beyond the 2 seeds, there are 4 additional dietary and lifestyle strategies the research consistently supports for seniors managing sciatica. Strategy 1. Reduce refined sugar and processed carbohydrates. Sugar is one of the most potent dietary drivers of systemic inflammation. Every spike in blood sugar triggers a corresponding spike in inflammatory cytokines, the same cytokines that aggravate the sciatic nerve. Eliminating sodas, white bread, packaged pastries, and sugary cereals from your morning routine alone can produce a measurable reduction in whole-body inflammation within 2 weeks. Strategy 2. Add turmeric to your daily diet. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, has been studied more extensively for anti-inflammatory effects than almost any other natural compound. A pinch of turmeric stirred into warm water with a small amount of black pepper, which dramatically increases curcumin absorption, every morning is one of the most evidence-supported natural anti-inflammatory habits a senior with sciatica can build. Strategy 3. Cold and heat application, used strategically. Cold packs applied to the lower back for 15 minutes reduce acute inflammation and numb pain signals during a flare. Heat applied after the acute phase, a heating pad on the lower back and hip, relaxes the surrounding musculature that is often in protective spasm around the irritated nerve. Alternating between the two, 20 minutes cold, 20 minutes heat, is a technique supported by physical therapists specifically for sciatic nerve pain management. Strategy 4. Gentle morning movement. Staying still when sciatica is painful feels instinctively correct, but prolonged inactivity allows inflammatory fluid to pool around the sciatic nerve, worsening both pain and stiffness. Gentle movement. Even 5 minutes of slow walking or a seated sciatic nerve glide exercise performed before getting out of bed keeps fluid moving, reduces nerve compression, and signals the nervous system to reduce its pain response. Your physician or physical therapist can show you the specific sciatic nerve glide exercises that are safe and appropriate for your level of mobility. Let me set realistic expectations because I want you to know what to look for so you do not give up too early. Days 1 through 3. Most people notice very little change in the first 3 days. The anti-inflammatory compounds in hemp seed and celery seed are beginning to accumulate in your system. Your omega ratio is beginning to shift. The COX2 inhibiting activity of 3NB is beginning to reduce prostaglandin production around the nerve. But these are biochemical changes happening at a cellular level, not immediately visible or feelable. Stay consistent. Days 4 through 7. This is the window where most people begin to notice a difference. Not necessarily a dramatic reduction in pain, but a change in the quality of the morning. Less stiffness when first getting out of bed. The burning sensation that is usually present within the first 30 minutes of waking, slightly less intense. More mobility in the first hour of the day. These are the early signals that the inflammatory environment around the sciatic nerve is beginning to shift. Days 8 through 30. Consistent daily use over this period produces the most significant and lasting results. The omega balance in your tissue continues to improve. Magnesium levels in the nervous system normalize. The COX2 inhibiting effect of celery seed becomes established as a daily baseline. Most people who maintain consistency through 30 days report meaningful, sustained reduction in the frequency and intensity of their worst sciatica flares, not a cure. A measurable daily improvement in the inflammatory foundation that sciatica pain depends on. I want to leave you with something simple. Sciatica pain is real. It is not imagined, it is not exaggerated. It is one of the most physically limiting conditions a senior can live with, and most of the people living with it deserve far better answers than they have been given. You cannot always control the structural changes in your spine that compress the sciatic nerve. You cannot reverse decades of wear overnight, but you can control the inflammatory environment that determines how much that nerve hurts every single morning. 2 seeds. 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds, 1/4 teaspoon of celery seed every morning for 7 days. Give your body what the research says it needs to calm that nerve, and then pay attention to what changes. Share this video with someone you love who wakes up every morning in pain, because the information in this video is free, and the difference it can make in someone's morning, in someone's life, is not. If this video gave you something valuable, please subscribe right now so you never miss a video that could protect your health or the health of someone you love. Drop a comment below with your age and your city. I read every single one. And tell me, how long have you been dealing with sciatica? I want to know your story. Thank you for being here. Stay informed, keep moving, and I will see you in the next video. Disclaimer: the information provided in this video is for general educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. This video does not establish a doctor-patient relationship. Always consult a qualified and licensed physician before making any changes to your diet, supplement routine, or health management plan. Individual results vary. If you are taking blood thinners or other medications, consult your doctor before adding new seeds or supplements to your diet. Statements in this video have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration.